Good morning. Today on the M Show, I will have a beautiful discussion with Dr. Jennifer Gardella. She wrote the book Listen to the Whispers of Abuse. Wow, it's something. I am so happy to be with you today, Jennifer. So I will introduce the M Show because the M Show is a place for people to come and to have tips on how to live a happier life. So M in French means love, and love, as the picture is showing, love for self, but love for others, because we are focusing on love. Love being for me the highest emotion and the most positive emotion that we can ever have. So why we are together? First, we are femme. So we have to tell you that we are in a beautiful women organization where women are supporting each other, growing together, learning a lot, because we have an amazing database and library of how to do. And we met through this organization, we connect, we have this beautiful exchange. And today, when you wrote the book, Listen to the Whisper of Abuse, I was like, wow. When I read it, I wanted to acknowledge your courage, your ability to write, of course, but to put yourself out there with vulnerability, again, to impact other women. So welcome.
Thank you, Medge. It's so good. I think you forgot one important part of our story, which I'm not even sure you're allowed to say, but I certainly can. It's that we worked together. I was one of your clients in I think a tailored series of sessions to open my heart in the beginning of the summer. And my heart did open and a lot of things happened. So
Yes.
Thank you for that work that we did together.
Oh, I'm very happy. We always think that if we open our heart, we are vulnerable and we will be hurt, but it's absolutely the contrary. When you open your heart, you are stronger, the stronger that you can even imagine, because you have all your power here. The power is here. It's not there, because here you have all the noise, but you have the power in your heart. So great job. Yes, I wouldn't talk about it, but thank you for acknowledging this part of our story. So tell me about your journey, because it's important that now you have the floor to tell the women who are listening, and also the men who are listening, why did you write and how do you feel after writing it?
Oof. I think that second question is a loaded one, so I'll start with the
Yes.
first. So, yeah, last year at the start of Domestic Violence Awareness Month in October, I woke up on October 1st and I said, oh my gosh, this is my time. I am going to start to share what I learned through my journey of escaping domestic violence. You see, when I lived in domestic violence, I didn't know I was living in domestic violence because I had buried the memories of actually being hit. And I was under emotional and psychological abuse, which I never considered abuse. I thought it was my job to heal him. And so at the start of last October, I said to myself, I just want to let the people know, maybe I can save one person. And what wound up happening is I gave myself another full-time job, managing the comments, the private messages, the texts, the phone calls that I received that included, I'm living with this. How did this happen to you? My sister's living in this. And I realized that there was a bigger issue that we had to address, because we're so used to looking for domestic violence, broken bones, bruises, caked on makeup, on a black eye. But in truth, we need to listen. We need to listen when the abuser is berating and humiliating his victim in front of us. And we also need to listen to the stories that she tells. And so at the end of Domestic Violence Month, after I was completely exhausted myself with all of the posts, a good friend of mine called and said, hey, where are you getting the content? I need it for my client. She's a therapist. And I said, oh my gosh, the content is mine. And my very dear friend, Mary Fran Bontempo, heard the story and said, publish it. You can save people, you can save lives. And also, just as importantly, you can help those who have a victim in their life and they don't know what to do, right? Your mother, brother, sister, aunt, uncle, whatever, is living in a domestic violence relationship. That can be just as harmful to people because they're talking to them every day as they cry. They don't know how to help a victim get out because, again, you can't call the cops. There's no physical abuse.
There is no blood, right?
Right, exactly.
You have no blood, so there is nothing to say.
Yeah, and then, as you know, because you work with individuals in somewhat of a coaching capacity, it's a lot to try to write some of this down. I knew I had to take the posts and expand them, but it kind of then became therapy. Like, let me tell them this story. Let me tell them that story. And again, I went back and I had my good friend, Mary Fran Bontempo, read the book before it went to my editor. And she said, you're telling too much of your story here. Get to the help. And so that's how the book was born. And it all came together very quickly at the end because I thought, let's strike while the iron is hot. Domestic violence awareness is coming up. And through a secondhand connection through a femme, I found a book formatter who was willing to work with my insanely tight timeline. And now we're published. And the response has been kind of fascinating. In fact, wait, what was your second question? How does it feel now?
Oh, yes. How does it feel now? Because how does it feel now? It's really, you put it out. You tell the world, okay, I am okay now. I have been in an abusive relationship. I am okay now. So how does it feel?
Yeah, so it's good to think and know in my heart that I'm helping others. That's the big piece of it. Like, people have been, again, writing reviews, emailing, texting me saying, I see this in my friend, sister, colleague, and I'm going to take one small step. And that's amazing. I also feel that the universe, God, Allah, Yahweh, whatever you believe in, provided me with this story to not only heal the wounds deep inside of me, but I have I have a big personality to be able to bring it to the world to help people. So it feels amazing to accomplish this kind of goal in let's get it out there. But now the real work begins because now we say, okay, how many people not necessarily are going to buy the book because, as you know, most people know, you don't become a New York Times bestseller right away. I'm not expecting to, as I keep joking with my kids, we're not going to Greece on this money on vacation. But the real
and you
work.
Didn't do it for that.
Maybe.
Come on.
Right. So now the real work begins in spreading the message and saying, let's listen. Everybody start to listen because the victims are out there being abused. So that it feels really good.
It feels good. That's what I wanted to hear. It feels good to have been able to be vulnerable and be able to say, okay, enough. I want to go out of there. And I shouldn't say the first step wasn't enough. The first step was realizing that there was something really wrong. Then saying to yourself, enough, and having the courage to escape and being able to stay strong, because a lot of people are escaping and they are coming back because they feel guilty. And most of the time, it's ending up in somebody dying. And of course, a victim dying, because the person who go over the top to be violent cross the line because he can, because we gave him the permission to do it over and over and over, because it's always escalating no matter what.
Right.
So I will take one page and I will read. I was screaming at her and she blew a gasket. She's crazy. Do you see what I deal with? So it's not only the abuser was hurting you, but pointing at the figure saying that you were the one crazy.
Yeah, that's
Can
called
you tell?
reactive abuse. And that was one of the most transformational parts of my healing journey. Because when my therapist, and you hear it if you work with a domestic violence center, you hear about reactive abuse in support group and in educational programs and with your therapist. And the first time I heard it, my entire life with him made sense. I was like, oh my gosh, now I understand why he would pick fights, blow up at me, blame me for things. And I would try to, I always say defend my honor, but it was like, why are you lying? Why are you calling me this? Why does someone who claim he loves me hurt me? And then you can't take it anymore. And now she's the crazy one. And what's so important is then the abuser takes it a step further and now has something to go out and tell everybody, right? He calls her friends, her family members, her colleagues, her boss, and says, she's off her rocker. She's going crazy. She's having a really hard time. Could someone in the office give her a hug? And people don't doubt him. People doubt her because she's walking in the room with, bloodshot eyes from crying. She's completely disheveled. She's been gaslit. So she's starting to doubt her own sanity. And
Absolutely.
yet everyone expects her to function normal in the world. And, oh, she has a problem now. It is unbelievable. Now she has a couple of drinks at a party and he's whispering to people in the corner, look, she's drinking too much. I mean, everything that
Drinking too much, you have a real issue. And some women might have been also put in houses because they were not right, right? It's happening also because, she's schizophrenic, she's reacting to her abuser. So there is something that I absolutely love. In the chapter, the second chapter, you write, the abuse was not your fault. So if, ladies, you are out there, abuse is not your fault. You did nothing wrong to be abused. You did nothing wrong to be put down.
Right.
Nothing wrong.
And there's nothing that you can do to change him. That's the flip side of it. He blames you. He tells you if you lose weight, cook better, clean better, whatever it is, dye your hair blonde, all the things that I was told, then I will be happy. And Medge, of all people, will tell you, you're not responsible for anyone else's happiness. And
Absolutely not.
You can't make them people happy. It's just impossible.
Cannot.
They're either happy on the inside or unhappy.
Yeah. and it's so, most people who are abused are people who have a huge heart and want to help, want to heal, believe that it's so important for me to stay with him because he will feel better. If I leave, he will not be happy. If I leave, I will hurt him. And he abused me because he saw his mother being abused as well. We have all the stories. That's why I say, let's focus on our art, because when you are in your head, you have all the stories. Right. And as soon as you go down inside your heart, you focus really on your heart, you realize that the most important is kindness for yourself.
Absolutely. What's going to work for me in this situation? And your significant other should support you in making good decisions for yourself. And that's something the abusers do as well. They rope you in with this. Why are you treating me like this? Don't you want us to work out? And as we all know now, I'm engaged, and my fiance says things like, what is going to work for you in this situation? And I'm like, wow, that is a whole new world for me. Like, you actually
How can I help you? How can I love you? And that is so great what you say, Jen. What you say, it was really giving, you have this journey of hurt, of tears. And then after the storm, because I call it a storm in our life, the journey of the storm, you finally find the light where you have someone who loves you like you should be loved, acknowledge you, support you, and is kind to you. And I think that it's a new thing in your life.
Absolutely. And one of the things that I learned during my healing journey was there was a hole, a wound inside of me where that caused me to get in the habit of attaching myself to abusers. And I'll never forget whenever I see my therapist, I joke with her about this because she said, okay, and it wasn't exactly this happy, but okay, so in today's session, we're going to explore the wounds inside of you that led you to not have boundaries and allow this in your life. Mm-hmm. And I was like, that doesn't sound fun. Like who wants to do that? And it was a lot of, and I'm very honest about this book, it was very painful and a lot of dropping to my knees. There was a lot of tears, but a lot of healing on the other side of it. Mm-hmm. So when you leave an abuser and you really do the work, you do the crisis counseling, you do the trauma therapy, you do the EMDR, you're in support group. On the other side of it is this person that I don't recognize sometimes because I now have such strong boundaries that I attracted someone into my life that respects them. And we're actually doing more with life because of the boundaries. And I'm not just trying to make him happy. We're working together to fulfill whatever goals as individuals we have, and then really talk about, okay, what do we want this relationship to look and feel like? And that's where we're at. And I've never had it before.
And you are both at a level of happiness that you never ever knew before. But also you are both bringing out there your true being. You are not faking it. You are not making somebody else happy and being so miserable inside. You are just being who you are with someone who is just who he is. We are all rounded. We are all rounded. We all have been, I will not say abused before, or yes, we all have. But we all came in a relationship with our hurt. However, we are not there to heal them for others because you need to do the work yourself. And when you were talking about, we might have someone in our life who is abused, we can help this person until this person decides that it's enough. Until this person realizes that she's abused, there is nothing happening. We cannot force someone to see that it's abuse. We cannot force someone to realize that she deserves love. She deserves to be happy. She deserves someone who will give her so much attention, be kind. We cannot.
Not at all.
We cannot. And that is, wow, that is so beautiful. So really, I absolutely love your book, because for sure I knew your story before, but it's really eye-opening because more people than we ever imagined are abused.
Right.
More people. So we talk about abuse in marriage, but you have abuse in parenting, at work, abuse in the neighborhood. I was talking one time with someone to have neighbors that are putting them down all the time. So we don't need to stay in this kind of relationship. We don't need to feel and be a victim. And it's not right, because we are stronger than we can ever imagine.
Right. As I always say, I'd rather be alone than with the wrong person. And that means significant other, friend, neighbor, to your point, colleagues. For me, it's my clients. I don't need it if they're going to cause stress or they're going to make me feel less than. I only want people around me who are lifting me up. Exactly. And, that gets a little hard with your own children or your parents or family members. But I think it's that discussion about respective boundaries that is so incredibly hard to start to have with people, and yet so important. And sometimes it takes a long time to learn boundaries, right? And you may know your boundaries, but being able to speak them is a whole different situation. So you have to find safe space, someone like Medge, to work with and say, okay, this is what I want. How am I going to get from awareness, which is the first most critical stage of all,
Yes.
to living the life that I want to live with people really respecting who I am. And that's the jump that many victims have to take because you're not used to it. And it's all foreign ground. When I met my fiance, I called our relationship in the beginning the internship. Because
I love it.
Things would happen. And I mean, just like in any relationship, right? Like you're getting to know each other, you're spending more time together, and something would happen that I would have to address with him. And I'd say, okay, old life, this would happen. I would address it and get screamed at, berated, and blamed. So I'm now going to, and I've just learned, you said it before, to be me. I'm not going to mince my words, few words as possible. I'm not going to give him a PhD dissertation on what I need. I'm just going to tell him very clearly. And there have been many times when I've taken on a little too much. And Jim has said to me, you know, I can't read your mind.
That is so important.
Right? So he wants to not make me happy. He wants to be the partner that he is and mesh with me in my life and what I need and want from a partner as well. And sometimes we do need to tell each other these things. And we have a famous saying in our relationship, do you need me to just listen? Or do you want me to actually help you? Like where I say workshop this out.
Wow.
And so that's been transformational too. I just need you to sit there and listen. But then there are times when it's like, no, I need all the input. Like, how's this, you know, what can I do? Like, let's solve this problem or let's work on solving the problem.
So Jen, you know, you learn from your experience. You learn from who you are. You learn about who you are.
Oh, yeah.
From this experience as well. You discover a new person. You discover new skills. So from something really bad, you turn it, and that I love that, you know, that as a positive psychology practitioner,
Right.
transforming whatever, because it's happened for a reason, and your reason is to help others, but the reason also is to discover your own strengths. And that was something huge for you.
Yeah, absolutely. And, you know, one thing I think is really important and part of an understanding my journey is this is not the person that escaped abuse. When I was the person that left and escaped, but I was dilapidated. My business was on life support. I was completely, I mean, I'm just going to say a hot mess, like on every level. And if you do the work, if you leave a bad situation, if you protect yourself, if it's safe, you have to do all the things. But if you really do the work and you work with great people like Medge, can't stress that enough. Not doing a commercial for Medge, but I'm just saying, you know, you have to do the trauma work. You have to work on yourself. I mean, I walked out of the relationship like I don't even know how to pick out a box of pasta without getting screamed at. I don't know what I like to do on the weekends. But if you can sit alone and figure that out and then dig down deep and say, okay, this is who I am, you pop out the other side of it. It's a slow process. It doesn't happen in a weekend. Yes. But you know, you can live that fully actualized life that we want you to be living. That's our goal here. We want we want all of the people that are living in not so great relationships or working in them or have friendships to realize that there's a better life waiting for them. And if you got to go and get it, go and get it. Or if you can.
Absolutely. Go get it. And how the little logo in the middle of us say, love yourself, love your life, focus on you, your life, you matter, you are important. And it's important, so, so important, vital for you to realize that you can live a happier and healthier life.
And it doesn't matter what he's told you. I know that, to the victims out there and to those who are listening to the victims, he's torn down her self-esteem. She thinks that she's worthless. She can't even clean her kitchen counters properly. She can't dress properly. She's too fat. She wears the wrong color, all of it. It's terrible.
Yeah.
And you know what? Whoever you want to be and however you want to dress and however you want to clean, that's your business. And if you find the right person, they'll fit in and they'll fill in the gaps. That's another thing.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's another thing with Jim and I. It turns out I'm a disaster cleaner. That means I clean, but I make a big mess. And he comes back and he kind of puts the house back together after I clean.
And you know, we are working also, we are working not to, we cannot excel in everything. I'm a terrible cleaner. I ask somebody to do it for me. I pay somebody to do it for me because
Sure.
it's not my strength. I cannot be an artist, a healer, a therapist, and be good at everything. No, like your partner is not good at everything.
Right.
So we have our strengths, we use them, we are becoming better in what we do. That's it. So another thing that is important, I was looking at in chapter 24, when you talk about red flag. Okay. So, and when I saw that, it was I smiled because I work with a lot of people who saw red flags. They saw red flags over and over.
They hand you a bouquet of them. It's like, here are all my red flags.
It's like a store of red flags, but they don't even realize it. They don't even want to see it. They believe that, oh, you know, I'm with somebody. I'm lucky to be with somebody. I'm lucky to have somebody. I'm lucky to have friends. They treat me poorly, but I'm lucky to have friends. No. No, 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 no. This is not a word that I like. I like to say yes. However, please say yes to a wonderful life. Say yes to being happy. Say yes to respecting yourself. Say yes to smiling, but real smile. That is my smile. It's your smile. It's a real smile. And I'm so happy for you, Jen. When I saw the ring, I said, yes.
You were one of the people that I privately messaged a couple months ago when it happened.
Because it's important.
Sure it is.
It is important. So after the storm, the sunshine is back. We observe nature. It is real.
Right.
So no matter what you are going through, no matter what, it's possible to transform. It's possible to change your life. And we are here. Both of us, we are working with people who have trauma, abuse, people who are going through terrible time. And below this video, you will have all our details. Reach out. We are here for you.
Yeah, and you know, one last point, because I know we're probably going to wrap up soon, but people living in abuse don't have to pack their bags and leave right away. And that can actually be a very dangerous situation for them because they have no place to go. And so if you have no place to go, you're probably going to run back because that's a place to go. And so you can call your local domestic violence center and do what's called safety planning, confidential safety planning with a counselor. You can start that right away. And your abuser doesn't have to know, your friends don't have to, no one has to know. It's completely confidential. And at least get your ducks in a row, because you're going to have access to a place to live and finances and clothes. And they may tell you to keep a packed bag at a friend's house, whatever that is. Just making that first step will empower you to realize that you at least have options. And, you know, Medge, we know better than anybody, right? You need options. Sometimes
absolutely
powerlessness comes from a complete lack of hopelessness, and I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know where I'm going. So yeah, very helpful to do that. I did not do that because I did not have time.
Yes. And yes, what you say, it's very, very important. It's a journey. And the journey, yeah, it's a journey. And on the journey of life, you have journey of abuse. Okay, it's happening. You did nothing to have it. It's happening. So we are here to bring you this strength, to help you feel so strong that The red flags, you will see them, but you will be so strong that you will attract the right person. And you say that, Jen, we attract the right person.
Still crazy, right? I mean, they're matched, like I always say, you know, he's matched crazy with me, but the right person who makes me feel like home and makes me feel safe, and the relationship is safe. And that's a beautiful thing to have.
Yes. And as people are abused, they need safety. You are absolutely right. Safe. We can talk forever about it. We have so much content, right?
We do.
So, but what we want to keep you with a last word of hope. So, Dr. Jennifer Gardella, please, hopeful quote for these people who are out there.
Yeah, I would have to say you deserve it, and go and get what you deserve. And the fear should not be what happens, what will anyone think? The fear should be never trying. And that is something that I'm living by as well. Again, especially if that fear is leaving abuse, keep yourself safe, but go out and find your life.
So you can do it. You deserve it.
Absolutely.
You have the ability to be happy. And we are here for you. Please comment. We will answer.
We will answer. I love
Absolutely.
to answer comments.
Thank you so much, Jen. And to you who are listening, it might not be a great subject. However, it's a subject, a meaningful subject. And we took the time to smile during the discussion to show you that after the storm, the sunshine is there. It's like nature. You can do it. We are doing it together. So thank you so much, Jen. And I appreciate our discussion like always. And I will see you soon.
Medge, thank you.
Bye-bye. Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.